I'm Saraya Mia and you're tuning in to AWANI Tonight. Majority UMNO divisions say they support Ismail Sabri as PM. And how will GE15 affect investor confidence? More on that coming up. UMNO divisional meetings, which took place last weekend, saw almost all of the 191 divisions pass the motion to support Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob as Prime Minister. Party Vice President Datuk Sri Mazir Khalid said the support given by the UMNO divisions was their own initiative and not because they were instructed to do so. The sentiment was reiterated by Party President Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, who said on Sunday that Ismail Sabri will remain as BN's poster boy and PM candidate in GE15, and that the coalition's stand on this would not change if BN wins over Putrajaya. Separately, Ismail has dismissed claims he did not consult his cabinet before advising the king to dissolve parliament, pointing out that they had discussed the matter twice. The Perak Legislative Assembly has been dissolved, becoming the third state to do so following the dissolution of Parliament last Monday. The move paves the way for Perak to hold its state polls simultaneously with GE15.
Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Sarani Mohamad says Perak Sultan Nazrin Muhyiddin Shah consented to dissolving the State Assembly. Pahang and Perlis both dissolved their state legislative assemblies last week. Meanwhile, Pakatan Harapan decided not to dissolve the state assemblies for Penang, Selangor and Negeri Sembilan, saying the focus should be on flood relief efforts. PAS has also said it would not dissolve the state assemblies in Kedah, Kelantan and Terengganu, which are under its control. Meanwhile, Melaka, Johor, Sabah and Sarawak have already held their state polls between 2020 and 2022. This means only Perlis, Perak and Pahang will have state polls simultaneously with GE15.
Gerakan Tanah Air plans to contest all 8 parliamentary seats in Negeri Sembilan for GE15, with former Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Badur among its list of potential candidates. It is understood he is likely to be fielded in Rembau, a Barisan Nasional stronghold currently held by Khairi Jamaluddin.
State GTA Chief Zamani Ibrahim said all parties and NGOs under the coalition have already submitted their respective names, with 20 shortlisted candidates. Meanwhile, former National Film Development Corporation Malaysia CEO Ahmad Idham Ahmad Nazri will likely be placed in Port Dickson, a seat now held by opposition leader Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim. GTA consists of 4 political parties, namely Pejuang, Putra, the National Indian Muslim Alliance Party and Parti Barisan Jemaah Islamiyah se-Malaysia. The coalition intends to contest over 120 seats in the coming polls under the Pejuang banner, with the exception of Terengganu and Kelantan.
Recent political realignments now mean there are a number of Malay-based parties and coalitions all vying for the Malay vote in GE15. Tonight on Consider This, we speak to our guests about the evolving nature of Malay's social and political identity. How will the mention of a general election impact investors' confidence and the market sentiment? MIDF research reveals that the run-up to GE15 may have a little impact to the market when compared to what's happening globally, and that price action would only come in after the polls.
Given that it's hard to forecast the outcome of G15 at the moment, investors' confidence are already dented by the aggressive US Fed. Hence, we think that the market will be muted in the run-up to GE due to this uncertainty. So we believe that any price action will be after GE15, in which it will either be positive should there be a majority government, or neutral should the status quo remains. What is more important to sentiment in our view is at the moment is the expected US Fed pivot, where we expect that US Fed will start to lessen the pace of its interest rate hike.
Imran is of the view that investors would take a more cautious approach leading up to GE15. Given the volatile economic state in Malaysia and globally, Imran also feels that the general election could have been called after the budget 2023 is passed.
In light of current economic conditions and the headwinds that we might be expecting next year, we do believe that GE15 could have been called after passing of government budget. That would have been better because of the potential economic headwinds next year. Foremost is, of course, the potential recession in the US. Therefore, we need to prepare early to ensure resiliency, and we opine that the budget is there to provide support in light of these uncertainties. So maybe after the passing of the budget would have been better. But of course, now it's just a moot point because the G15 has already been called. So on the run-up to G15, you know, election rally that people think of might be just a myth. We have not seen that in the past two elections, and a lot of price action came after G15. So we can expect the same for G15 as well, where you know, there won't be any rally, so to say, external factors playing more prominent role. And then after G15, should we have a positive majority government, then market would react positively. But again, it will be still moderated by concerns of what's happening externally as well.
Budget 2023 will be tabled again before the end of this year. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the budget must be debated and approved by the Dewan Rakyat so that the essence of the federal budget can be implemented.
Ismail, speaking at a Risda and Falkra event in Perak, gave his commitment to implement all the initiatives in Budget 2023 if he continues to be given the mandate as Prime Minister in GE15. On October 7th, Finance Minister Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz presented the budget to Parliament, which involved an allocation of 372.3 billion ringgit. However, the budget is now considered to have lapsed following Ismail's announcement on the dissolution of Parliament last week to pave the way for GE15. The proposed budget will have to be retabled and approved by Parliament once the new government is formed after GE15.
Meanwhile, fugitive businessman Joe Low and his father, Tan Sri Larry Low Hock Peng, have been sentenced to prison for contempt of court. The Kuala Lumpur High Court issued the committal warrant and ordered both to pay 5,000 ringgit in costs after the duo failed to comply with two injunction orders served on them.
The injunction required the father and son, along with 4 others, to disclose their whereabouts and assets to the court. It is part of the ongoing suit filed by 1MDB and its subsidiary, Global Diversified Investment Company Limited. Back in March, the two were served with the Mareva injunction, which froze Joe Low and his father's assets locally and abroad, pending the outcome in court. 1MDB had filed a state of claim seeking $3.8 billion against Joe Low, his father, mother, sister, younger brother, and an alleged associate. The suit was part of the 22 civil actions by 1MDB and former subsidiary SRC International that was launched last year. Currently, authorities are still tracing the whereabouts of Joe Low and several others to assist in the investigation into the 1MDB scandal.
Looking ahead to Malaysia Memilih, Astro AWANI will be bringing to you Question of the Day for you to ponder as we cover this election season. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen to share your thoughts on what matters to you. The results of these questionnaires will be revealed daily as we aim to gather valuable insights from the voters at large. Be sure to head over to undi.astroawani.com to answer these daily questions. Now we'll head over for a quick break. Stay tuned.
Dalam membawa setiap berita, semestinya yang penting adalah untuk membawa pelbagai sudut sesuatu cerita itu.
Yang pastinya suara akar undi, terutamanya suara rakyat, harus diberi ruang. Kami di Astro AWANI sentiasa komited dan juga bertanggungjawab dalam menyampaikan berita yang seimbang, konstruktif, terutamanya kepada seluruh rakyat Malaysia.
Saya Jasmine Abu Bakar.
Dan saya Ihsan Yahya.
Pastikan AWANI 745 dan Sinar AWANI menjadi pilihan utama anda.
For a wrap-up on the latest stories of the day, catch us on AWANI tonight, 9:45 p.m. Monday to Friday on Channel 501. And if you're on the move, catch us on astroawani.com, the AWANI app, or all our main social media platforms.
Saya nak tanya sikit, kat rumah ni pernah jadi apa-apa?
Masuk je?
Cuba Google pasal tempat ni, tapi saya tak dapat apa-apa info. Cuma ada satu blog dia cakap kawasan ni ramai orang hilang. Mungkin bunian?
Selamat datang anakku.
Welcome back. Russia has attacked the center of Kiev during morning rush hour with drones today, while shelling other cities around the country. This is the second time in a week Moscow has unleashed strikes across Ukraine as its forces face setbacks on the battlefield. Ukrainian officials reported 4 strikes using what it called kamikaze drones to attack critical infrastructure. They said the drones, believed to be Iranian-made, had flown into the country from the south. Kiev reverberated to the rattle of gunfire as anti-aircraft rocket frantically tried to shoot them down. A week ago, the capital was hit by Russian missiles at rush hour as part of a nationwide attack which left 19 dead. Russia has stepped up its use of attacks carried out by explosive-carrying drones in recent weeks, with various targets hitting Ukraine, particularly energy infrastructure. Meanwhile, the death toll from a fire that erupted in a prison in Iran over the weekend has risen to 8. Officials said dozens more were injured in the blaze at the Evin jail in Tehran, which is known for housing political prisoners. Hundreds of people taking part in anti-government protests which have swept the country for the past month have been sent to Evin prison. It is not clear whether the incident in the jail was connected to the unrest. Iran judiciary said the fire began in a prison workshop after a fight among inmates, while Iranian state TV said it was a premeditated escape plan by prisoners. The Evin prison, which has been repeatedly criticized by right groups and blacklisted by the US government in 2018 for serious human rights abuses, holds many political and security prisoners, including dual nationals. Authorities said the fire that broke out Saturday did not directly affect the wing in which political prisoners were held. Authorities in Thailand have issued new weather warnings for 8 southern provinces as more rain is expected this week. The kingdom is battling with floods as nearly 40% of the country's provinces are still inundated and dealing with floodwaters. The warnings include the resort island of Phuket, where a flash flood on Sunday disrupted local transport and tourism businesses. Heavy rain and tropical storms since last month have caused flooding in 59 of Thailand's 77 provinces, impacting nearly 500,000 homes, while over 100,000 hectares of agricultural land were damaged. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha ordered authorities nationwide to deploy boats and to help reconnect people cut off by floods and provide assistance where possible. The government last week has set aside over $600 million for flood assistance and rehabilitation. Sweden's parliament today elected moderates leader Ulf Kristersson as the country's new prime minister. A total of 176 members of parliament voted in favor of Kristersson, while 173 members voted against him. He will be leading a 3-party coalition government with the moderates, as Christian Democrats and the Liberals. The right-wing bloc won a slim majority in last month's election over the ruling Social Democrats government and its left-wing bloc by securing 176 seats in a 349-member parliament. Far-right Sweden Democrats will not be a part of the government. However, Kristersson said he will cooperate closely with them. Before we leave you tonight, we want to hear what you want for GE15. Here's the question of the day displayed on the screen. All you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen to share your thoughts on what matters to you. as we inch closer to the election date, which will be announced by the Election Commission this Thursday. The results of these questionnaires will be revealed daily. And for more on GE15, head over to undi.astroawani.com. The choice is in your hands. Let's go out to vote this GE15. Once again, my name is Saraya Mia. Thank you for watching and good night.